When Assassin's Creed first launched back in 2007, the consensus among many was that it had a lot of interesting ideas and potential, but simply needed refinement. Those ideas were later expanded upon and made considerably better a few years later in Assassin's Creed 2, the entry in this series that is still cited by many as their favorite. Nearly a decade has passed since that time, but the Assassin's Creed franchise has once again found itself in a similar position. Assassin's Creed Origins launched last year and served as the first soft reboot that this IP has seen in quite some time. Much like the original game, Origins had some fantastic elements, a great location, and a memorable character, but was still a bit rough around the edges in certain areas. It is with the follow-up entry to Origins, though, this year's Assassin's Creed Odyssey, that Ubisoft has once again refined the franchise for the better, and as a result has created one of the best games in the series. Assassin's Creed Odyssey this time takes you to Greece during the Peloponnesian War, a historic clash between the Athenians and the Spartans. You play as either Cassandra or Alexios, which fits in line with one of Odyssey's most significant new elements, character choice. Not only do you get to decide who you will play as at the beginning of Odyssey, but a new dialogue system allows you to shape how you want your character to respond to the situations that they are presented with. For the most part, the dialogue system and the ability to make your own choices are great additions to Assassin's Creed, and I found that it made me far more invested in the story. Sometimes, though, it felt like there weren't enough options to choose from in a given situation, and occasionally I was surprised by the reaction that my character would have in-game from the dialogue choice that I would make. Otherwise, this edition is one I'd love to continue seeing implemented in Assassin's Creed games moving forward. As for what you'll be doing within this gigantic world of Greece, prepare yourself for the usual slate of missions, contracts, and side quests. Many of the missions within Assassin's Creed Odyssey became a bit too fetch questy for my liking, especially those on the main path. Side quests within each region are where things tend to get a bit more enjoyable and involve some hilarious characters. Level gating is still kind of an issue in Odyssey, much like it was within Origins, but luckily I enjoyed a fair amount of the side quests that I would run across just because of how insane some of them tended to be. Greece is also filled out with a variety of other tasks that include hunting mythical beasts and climbing up to synchronization points, an Assassin's Creed staple. Additionally, each region in Odyssey typically allows you to kill key members of factions or destroy war supplies to lessen a group's power within the area. Once their grasp on this area has dropped far enough, you can then kick off giant conflicts featuring hundreds of different characters clashing on screen at once. These moments are pretty novel and unique the first few times you do them, but they begin to grow a bit stale after you've done them a couple times. Also, for those of you looking for more of an assassin angle within Assassin's Creed Odyssey, one of the largest side tangents to the main story finds you going all about Greece in the pursuit of killing the many members of a shadow organization called the Cult of Cosmos. These members' identities are hidden, and only by uncovering who they are can you then seek them out to kill. In a time where I know many are saying that Assassin's Creed has lost its way because it doesn't even focus on assassination much anymore, this pillar of Odyssey stands out and makes you feel more like an assassin than many entries have within the past few years. As far as actual gameplay mechanics go, everything is roughly the same as it was in Origins, outside of some key changes to combat. Even though core attacks are once again the same, you now have the option to use certain combat abilities like the iconic Spartan kick to launch people off of cliffs. These new abilities add a considerable amount of variety to Assassin's Creed Odyssey and help liven up combat, whereas I felt it got stale after a certain number of hours in Origins. It can still be pretty repetitive after a decent chunk of hours, but unlocking and learning to utilize new abilities makes it a fresher experience over the long haul. Another returning aspect of Assassin's Creed Odyssey sees the return of your ship from Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, but this time around it's used more for travel purposes than that of combat. Don't get me wrong, there's still plenty of naval battles to be had within Greece, but these engagements are rather trite compared to what we've seen from this series in the past. If you're a massive fan of Black Flag like I am, don't come into Odyssey expecting the same depth within ship combat because you won't find it. Still, I never found myself dejected to have to jump back into ship combat and sail about Greece because it's really fun and relaxing. As for some notes on performance, I played on Xbox One X and found the graphical fidelity of Assassin's Creed Odyssey to be pretty amazing. That said, there are some seriously long load times in the game. Even when I'm not running it at 4K, load times to get back into the world were taking me minutes rather than seconds. I'm sure this is something that will be fixed in a patch down the road as is usual nowadays, but it was still pretty annoying while I was playing. I fear what it will be like for those who aren't playing on the higher end consoles or PCs. Assassin's Creed Odyssey is one of the best entries in this franchise's over decade-long history. It wonderfully improves and iterates upon all of the new elements that were introduced in last year's Assassin's Creed Origins, while simultaneously taking you to one of the most breathtaking and vast locations that I've seen in any video game in quite some time. While it might have more in common with a series like Mass Effect compared to what Assassin's Creed once was, the sheer amount of content and depth to everything within is impressive as can be. Assassin's Creed Odyssey isn't just one of the best Assassin's Creed games there's ever been, it's one of the best action RPGs I've played this console generation. While only a few years ago I was left wondering what this franchise's future would be, now I'm more excited than I have been in quite some time to see where Ubisoft continues to take Assassin's Creed from here. To see more about Assassin's Creed Odyssey and read our full written review, be sure to head over to DualShockers.com, and of course, don't forget to subscribe down below.